Yunus Kabul, we have seen, put the laces through it. And he's on the score sheet here with the help of a deflection. It's worked out for Watford and they win. Kabul, and he makes the run. Kabul goes on. And Dini's there! 2-0 Watford!
Hello and welcome to the brand new football podcast, The Three Wide Men. My name's Jack Stewart. We've got with us Liam Lines and
Hello.
Jonny Leafield.
Hello.
So to start things off, we go to the most noteworthy tie of the week, which was obviously Watford beating Arsenal. No bias there, even if I'm a Watford fan. Watford won 2-1 the day before Graham Taylor's funeral, and I think it was a very fitting tribute. Around 1,500 fans turned up on Wednesday outside the church, even though it was pouring rain, to say their final goodbyes to really the man who built the club. He brought them up from the bottom divisions, and I think he'll be happy to see that they're still at the top. So, any thoughts, guys?
I don't know, really. It's a bit of reminiscent of old Watford. I think they had a bit of fight for a change. They're not really showing that. I don't know if it's just coincidence or maybe Walter had said something in the change rooms to them about, let's do it for Graham Taylor, and Arsenal just weren't ready for them. So
Yeah, because obviously the game after Graham originally passed away was against Middlesbrough, and the fans were definitely up for it and tried to get behind the team, but the team still didn't perform well, and that hadn't motivated them. So I don't know if what Walter did differently this time to get to win. I think also the game against Millwall, which is one of the worst Watford performances I've ever seen. Something had to be done. There had to be a response, and I think Watford did that. But on the other side, someone who didn't respond was Arsenal, who had the complete opposite. They had a very good game in the FA Cup, smashing Southampton 5-0, but then they made 10 changes from that game. I think Mustafi was the only player left. And Arsenal commented after the game saying that on the mental front, we were not ready for the challenges. We were dominated in too many duels. I know it's only small Watford and were playing bad, but I mean, surely it's no excuse for your players to not be mentally prepared in a Premier League game.
I think you very rarely see some fight from Arsenal, do you? Like when they go to the big teams, like when they go to Man United didn't really, like if they were in like poor form earlier in the year, they basically scrapped. They've just got a bit more aggression about them, and they went and sort of bullied them a little bit. And Arsenal just, like, you rarely ever see Arsenal bully a team, because they're just not aggressive enough. They've got the people like Coquelin who just straight up foul people, or there's no one who's clever, like they're clever in their aggression.
Xhaka does do it, but gets sent off.
Yeah.
So it's a
one
bit too much.
One extreme or the other.
And then goes and insults people at an airport.
But people talk about the FA Cup and making changes, and it affects. And I know Jonny talks about a lot that winning breeds winning, and it just like I just can't believe that they wouldn't be up for this game. And it's they've had a rest. They're not motivated enough to beat Watford. It just seems like. I think that falls down to Arsene Wenger, and I think that's one of the main reasons that if you're going to argue for him to get sacked, I wouldn't want him to get sacked. But if you were, as an Arsenal fan, if he's saying that his players aren't motivated, well, whose fault's that? It's got to come down to the manager.
They plainly weren't. I mean, there was probably a bit of complacency there. They probably saw Watford and thought, they're in really poor form. We're at home. We go out there and just turn out. We should have enough. And obviously, you scored quite early on, didn't you?
Very early on, 10th and 13th minute.
13th minute, so they were sort of, they barely
Rocking.
got out of the change room and they were sort of 2-0 down, so yeah, it's complacency on their part, so they've only got themselves to blame.
Yeah, I absolutely think that's the case, because I mean, Arsenal were undefeated in their last 7 and Watford hadn't won in their last 7 games, so obviously the tides then turned. But I think there's a couple of other reasons I think that why Watford did well, because I think we were set up very differently to how we have been in the past few weeks, and I think having 4 at the back, even though we played 4 centre-backs, I think was actually a very good tactical move by Mazzari, because it just completely shut down their attack. It stopped. Giroud was completely shut out from the game, and he did absolutely nothing in the first half, because Kabul, Prödl, even Britos and Cathcart were winning all the aerial fights, and they couldn't get the ball to him, and that was why he was subbed off at half-time.
How long's Cathcart been back for?
He hasn't really been back properly. That was his first start for a while.
Because that might have been the difference, I think, for Watford.
He was on the bench at Millwall, and I probably would have played him in that game.
Because he's such a key player for you in defence that I don't know, might make.
He was actually, by all accounts, the worst performing defender of the 4. But he was playing. He was a makeshift right back against the likes of Alexis Sanchez. So he did give him quite a hard time. And also playing 4 at the back as well. I'd just like to say, because I as these guys know, I love to rag on Kabul. He's been one of the most frustrating players for me to ever watch. But on Tuesday night, he was fantastic, and I think a big part of that was because he was in the back four. He was in that middle two centre backs where everything was in front of him. He didn't have. Usually, we've been playing him on the right side of a back three, and it allows players just run at him and run past him. If the ball's at his feet, he's absolutely dreadful. But if he's all he's got to do is just stand firm, hold his ground, head the ball away, then he's fantastic. He's a great physical presence. But as soon as you give the ball to his feet, and it's like a slapstick comedy, it's dreadful. It's absolutely terrible. So I think four at the back was a huge change for us, and I think he looks much more comfortable there. Maybe that is why he was one of Sunderland's best players last year.
Also, I think what puts the result against Arsenal sort of makes it even worse, and I don't, because obviously they did come back into it, so they did get some motivation later on. But we might talk about transfers in a minute, but what they haven't done, Arsenal, is get the signature of Ozil and Sanchez sorted out on their contracts, and I don't know whether the commitment of both players are sort of wavering a little bit. Might be a bit of a punt out there, but I think
I don't think you could ever question Sanchez's commitment, because all he wants to do is play football. I would question Ozil because he drifts out like, you know. Sort of,
but if you've got contract stuff going in the background and you're not happy, it can be quite hard to switch. I know you just want to play football, but I don't know. I think.
To be fair, he has looked a bit stroppy in recent weeks.
You want to just leave that sort of stuff off the field, but it can always translate no matter what you try to do as a person.
I think Sanchez will always give his all on the pitch, and he'll always try as hard as he can, but I think that doesn't mean that he'll stay at Arsenal, and you can kind of see him getting slowly more frustrated, and he'll still play for Arsenal and he'll still work his ass off, but just may not be here next summer.
I don't think it will be.
And just to put that into context, Watford hadn't won away since the 1st of October, which was a 1-0 win against Middlesbrough. And I think that's what makes it worse for Arsenal, is because the Emirates should be, that should be a foregone conclusion winning games, especially against a team that doesn't win away, essentially. And I think that's something that Arsenal have had trouble with for year after year.
I mean, we're loving the Emirates at the moment. I mean, we beat them at the Emirates last year at the FA Cup. Liam, you joined me for that game. That was quite incredible.
One of the best away sort of crowds. As I said, your fans were amazing that night and that afternoon, and it was
we're absolutely enjoying the Emirates, and we've also quite enjoying Tom Cleverley. He's made 2 starts for us, and both games he's got an assist. And I think he actually played a very big part as well in the game, because he just adds some energy to our midfield with the likes of... And it allowed Capoue to actually go forward, because Capoue's fantastic, and he's obviously a key player for us, and everyone looks at his goal-scoring record this season, so he's got quite a few goals, and that was early on, where I think he was motivated, and then he's just dropped off, and he's been terrible, to be honest, the past couple months. But then, if he's getting pushed back and having to defend, which he will do and he can do, but it's not when he's at his best. He's at his best when he's really confident, he's really going, he's running at Arsenal. You saw he carried the ball, even though it was from a stupid throw-in for Watford's second goal. He carried the ball from the halfway line and just ran through like 3 or 4 defenders. Even if Ramsey didn't really do much. I mean, Ramsey as well, just terrible performance. I mean, he was rested on the weekend, yet he still went off with a hamstring injury after 20 minutes. And he was at fault really for both goals as well. It's just not been a good season for him at all, really.
No. Well, like you say, I don't know whether he was trying to play for an injury and then that didn't help him. I don't know, because I didn't watch the game fully, so I don't know whether it was just terrible play for him. But it seems like, and we've seen a clip of the warm up beforehand, and you watch them warm up, and Mustafi looks like he's doing a dance more than actually getting ready for a serious game. That could have tested them, really. They looked a bit too casual for my liking.
Okay, and then the next game we have Chelsea and Liverpool drawing 1-1. David Luiz's early free kick that caught, I think, everyone off guard, even Willian, was then cancelled out by Wijnaldum. With a lot of teams at the top dropping points, it's a pretty good result for Chelsea, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think they went there with a plan, which was pretty obvious. It worked quite well. I think Conte's plan was pretty much get to half time at 0-0 and then nick one at the end, and it was going to be a 1-0 smash and grab, and I think they scored a bit earlier than maybe even he thought. So I don't think Liverpool really sort of had a few chances, but I don't think they looked like. I mean, it was against Wolves at the FA Cup as well. They just they had a lot of the ball, but they just don't do anything with it. It's really frustrating to watch.
Yeah, I'd agree. It was a perfect weekend for Conte. He's seen all the other teams drop points. His team has played as best as they can. They could have won it. Apart from the penalty save, they didn't really ever look troubled by Liverpool.
No, I think a lot of that's got to do with Kante. I mean, in that game alone, he made 9 tackles, 5 blocks, 2 clearances and 1 interception. I mean, it's just so difficult to get past him.
I saw a stat the other day. I think he's made the most interceptions and tackles in his 2 years in the Premier League than anyone else has in the last 3.
Yep, and he's only halfway through his second season.
Yeah,
he's made 253 tackles, 1 more than Matic.
It's just one of those like you don't realise he's there because he does such a good job. He just silent assassin. Just never notice he's there.
Or whatever. So nobody can beat us. What was I said? That's obviously not true, but it felt for me in this moment like this. Then I went back to the ref official and said it was absolutely the wrong person to say it. But I said, sorry, I was a little bit excited, and he said, no problem, I like your passion. That actually I've never heard before from a fourth official, so I thought it makes sense that you know about it. So write what you want, but that's the truth.
That was Jurgen Klopp there, screaming nobody can beat us at the fourth official after the penalty save, and getting complimented for his passion, which isn't something we hear of very often. What were your guys' thoughts on that?
I'm not really sure what to make of that, to be honest, because it was right in like the what he said. Obviously, at least he wasn't swearing at him or arguing at him. So it's quite nice, and so it's quite a nice thing. And obviously the ref didn't take it too seriously. But the way he acts and gets right into his face, and we've seen this quite a lot lately. Like obviously generally, but there seems to be a high intensity of it. Referees getting sort of pushed by Arsene Wenger and Mourinho saying that he's treated unfairly, and it's one of those things that I don't know whether you want to stop it on the pitch, like they're saying they only want to have captains talking to the referee and stuff like that, and it's you want to have this kind of interaction, but at the same time, it does go too far sometimes. But no, I guess it was quite nice, I guess to hear sort of the humanisation of it. And
I think the different I sort of spoke to my friends about it, and they said technically it comes under sort of being being aggressive towards an official. But I think at the end of the day, football's become so stale. Like you're not allowed to do anything anymore. Like you've basically just got to use a bit of common sense. At the end of the day, he's passionate because it's his job. Like it is his actual livelihood. If he's gone up to you and said yes, like he's in the moment, he's come back and go, whoa, sorry, I was a bit excited there, but we've effectively, I feel like justice has been served. And he's apologised, and it's sort of one of those, fair enough. Thanks for apologising. Let's get on with it. It's not really said anything offensive, so let's not worry. Move on. It's not a story. I think people get Mourinho got upset because he just whinges and then he doesn't really have a point a lot of it. I mean, he did this time, I think, but a lot of the time he doesn't really have a point. He just whinges, and then he sort of says something that in his mind isn't offensive, but the ref's like, you can't say that, and he doesn't apologise. So then officials think, well, why should we give you a chance? If you just said sorry, I've been stressed because of this result, we should have eaten whole, sorry, then they would have been like, do you know what, Jose, don't worry about it, just carry on, best luck for the season or whatever. Because he whinges all the time, he doesn't say sorry. It's not hard to say sorry. That's basically what I think Klopp's got away with it, because he just apologised.
I think he's also gone away with it because he's Klopp. I think it's different personalities can get away with different things. I think, because I can't think of a better example with Klopp. If you had Klopp and Mourinho saying the exact same compliment, I think it would be taken a lot nicer from Klopp, whereas from Mourinho it might be taken a bit arrogant. I mean, if Mourinho was screaming at a fourth official, nobody can beat us, it comes across as arrogant. Yeah. But because Klopp's so charming, it comes across as just funny, light-hearted and genuine passion. But I do think it's nice to hear officials kind of allowing managers to be a bit more animated and a bit more emotional on the touchline, because they really should be. I mean, they get kept in like a little box, don't they? They're like a caged animal.
Literally.
They literally have a little box, not a literal box, but a drawn box that they can't leave those boundaries. And I think we all love watching managers get animated on the side. Like, it's absolutely hilarious. Like when Villa-Boas was always like squatting on the edge of the box, nervous watching Tottenham and everything. It's great to watch, and yeah, I'd like to just see it be allowed more, really, and a bit more leniency towards it. But as we say, just don't overstep the mark.
I think Mourinho's reputation came before him in this situation, because like you said, if they said the exact same thing and then Mourinho had gone up and apologised, most people would have said, right, okay, fine, right, thanks for apologising, but whatever. But the Klopp said it because he doesn't have that reputation. You just think, oh, you know, it was a once spur moment thing. It was happened once. Like, it's not going to happen again. With Mourinho, you just expect it.
I mean, Mourinho doesn't have the best relationship with referees, really, does he? Every other week he's, you know, complaining or insulting referees in one way or another throughout his career. So he's earned that reputation, really.
Yeah.
You can't complain. So, next game as well, we had Swansea recording a good win against Southampton, winning 2-1. Late Sigurdsson goal in the 70th minute, giving them the winner. Paul Clement's had quite an impact in his first 3 games. He's got 2 wins and 1 loss. They lost in their first game, his first game 4-0 to Arsenal, which if Arsenal do turn up, it's always going to happen. But then they've recorded a fantastic 3-2 win against Liverpool and now 2-1 win against Southampton. They're doing quite well. Can they beat the drop?
Good question.
Pretty tight, yeah.
I was looking at the table yesterday and I was just thinking anyone can get, because even, you know, Hull are starting to pick up points, which we'll talk about later, but it's every one of them I feel this year has a chance of surviving and someone going down, no matter whether, you know, you're Leicester or Swansea. I think there's still a lot of games to be played, but I hope they do well after seeing Paul Clement struggle at Derby. I really do like him, seeing him on Soccer Saturday in interviews. I feel like he wants to prove that he can be a good manager, and I feel like
he will be given the chance. Like, this is his chance, and he's got. If he can get Swansea out of this, then this is going to do his credibility the world of good.
Yeah, I think as for Southampton, I mean, they've been doing well. They've obviously reached the League Cup final, but you know, before, sometimes when you've got the cup in the back of your mind, it's hard to sometimes focus on the league when you're like kind of mid-table safe. So, do you think maybe we'll see Southampton go on a losing run now before their final?
I don't think it's got anything to do with the cup. I mean, it's just coincidence, the fact that they've lost Font. Obviously, it's gone to West Ham for some reason. Money, probably.
Do you not know why? It's because he wanted an extra year on his contract, and Southampton weren't willing to give it to him. So that's why he went in for longevity at West Ham rather than playing throughout this season and then not having a club.
Oh, that's fair enough.
I think. Well, that's what there was definitely contract talks with Southampton that failed at some point.
Yeah. How old is he now?
So he's 30 or so. Yeah. So he was at risk of.
You've seen it before with players that players like to. You know, it gets printed in the media that they basically went for money, when actually, when a player gets over 30, you've got to think about your livelihood. And if you're going to get an extra year at a club that might be doing slightly worse, but is at the end of the day probably still going to stay in the Premier League, you've got to sort of take that chance. But I think Southampton's demise is basically fallen on the fact that Font left because he wanted a longer contract, Van Dijk got injured, and Charlie Austin got injured. And I didn't realise how important Austin was to Southampton until obviously they found out he was going to be out for sort of 2 or 3 months, I think. And as good as sort of Shane Long is, I think he can't really feel. He's a different type of striker, and the way that Southampton is set up to play, I don't think it's really.
Would you say he's more of a similar? I'd say that Long is more like their new signing Gabbiadini, like a quick player who runs at defences, and Charlie Austin who's like a bit stronger, a bit better in the air.
I mean, Charlie Austin is incredibly slow, so they're not the same in that respect.
Yeah, I feel like he did score in that game, and I think Southampton. I'm going to call it. I think because of the cup, I think they're not going to win a single game till that cup final. I'm going to call it now. You see it so often. I don't know if I've got. They've got Sunderland next. West Ham next, and Sunderland, and I think they're clubs who are fighting for survival, fighting for performances, and I think Southampton are going to be. They had Stevens and Yoshida at the back recently, and they beat Liverpool. So they're good players. They're players that can deal with the situation at hand. But I just think be too worried about trying to stay in the team, and the manager might change a few things. Be like, don't do too much because we've already lost Van Dijk to injury. So just sort of. Like, I wouldn't say he's going to say don't get stuck in. But I feel like some of his key players, he might be like, I want to win that cup. People want to win stuff, and this is huge for these players. I'm not sure the record. It's the first final for a while for Southampton.
They've been in. I think they've been in one other major. Was it 78 cup final, FA Cup final? I think that they won. or they might have lost it. I'm sure Billy was.
I know they lost. They lost one. They lost one in like 2003.
I don't think they've. I don't think
Arsenal
they've won a
or
major. I'm sure they haven't won a major trophy because Bill was winding Max up about it.
They've definitely been in a couple of finals, but yeah, it might have been around 10 years ago, I think. But I feel like they're going against teams like West Ham and Sunderland who are really going to give them a fight. I think Sunderland, I think they've brought in a few players, and I think they're giving them a tough game.
Now we have a Sunderland versus Tottenham 0-0 draw. I mean, a clean sheet for Sunderland and fantastic result for them, really. It's actually Sunderland's first clean sheet since the game against Watford on the 17th of December.
Yeah, so they're only third of the season as well, wasn't it? I think.
Yep, just their third of the season.
So, yeah, I think this is sort of the start of Moyes trying to get his team together. They've finished the transfer window. They've got a few experienced players in with Gibson and Oviedo, and I think at least at home, I think they're going to start improving their form.
They're going to have to, aren't they? Really? I mean, still stuck at the bottom. But Sunderland somehow always seem to avoid the drop, but they're always in a relegation fight every year. But do you think this could finally be their year, Johnny, and to go down?
Sunderland, yeah, I think they're going down. I've got Sunderland to go down. I think Hull are gone. I quite like Marco Silva from so far, but football's a fickle game, and in about probably a month he'll have lost 3 out of 4, and then people will be like, I'm not really sure he's got enough. I think that's the way it's going to go. I mean, you look at Hull's squad, who have they got? They've sold three of their best players, and they didn't have a great squad to begin with.
They didn't.
In my mind, they're already gone. In my mind, they're in the Championship next year.
I would agree, but I feel like he's got them in. When I've seen them play against Chelsea. Chelsea, I know, are not a possession team anyway, but for 20 minutes, Hull were just constantly pinging it around them and playing some really nice football. And I think the trouble is, like we said, they haven't got another striker, so Hernandez is huge for them. But yeah.
I think they're confident at the moment, but as soon as they maybe get a couple of results that they might have felt that should have gone their way and didn't, I think it's going to kind of rock the boat, and I don't think they've got enough to kind of come back from it.
They did make 7 signings. Only 2 of those were permanent and 5 loans, so obviously it's kind of desperation, I think, from Hull a bit to just get players in.
Yeah.
But back to Sunderland Tottenham. Surely it has to go down as a failure by Spurs, really. I mean, with the difference in quality, it's almost inexcusable, really, to not at least score against Sunderland.
I didn't watch the game, so I don't know whether it ended up being a back to a wall job by Sunderland. But to not go to for a team that's trying to obviously won the title last year, now going for the same sort of target. I think Pochettino would be hugely disappointed not to at least get a goal at Sunderland. And I think I'm not really sure. Really, I just think it's one of those that it's a blip, but it could be a crucial one.
It definitely could be a crucial one, especially as Chelsea get further and further away, and with everyone else at the top kind of dropping points, it's a huge chance for Tottenham's gone to waste. Now we have a Middlesbrough West Brom 1-1 draw. It's the 6th minute Morrison goal, then cancelled out by the 17th minute penalty, and not much else happened really in that game. West Brom missed out on a lot of their signings in January. Went in for the likes of Igalo and came up short, and Pulis was kind of frustrated, but I think West Brom have been performing quite well, haven't they?
Yeah, I mean, they definitely look a lot more solid this year. I think they've almost got, with the takeover from their Chinese investment group, I think they've finished their boing boing, as in getting relegated and then getting promoted again. I think they've consolidated for as long as Jeremy Peace felt was necessary, and now their financial targets have been met. They feel like they can start climb into the top 10 permanently, and I think this is the season that they've started to do it. Their squad does seem a little bit stronger than usual. They've sort of left the middle of the road and have tried to reach the other side. So I think they've looked at they're a really good team to watch this year, which is weird to say about
Really
West Brom
weird.
because normally don't.
Weird to say about a Tony Pulis side.
I mean they've been quite good. They've just been fun to watch.
It's funny because I wouldn't be so harsh on Tony Pulis because obviously yes he does go to basics when he goes to a club originally, but he started Stoke's transition before Hughes got there. Once he got quality, his sort of style does change slightly, but when you haven't got the quality, he knows what needs to be done. And I think I didn't really make much notes for this, but I think West Brom they're listening to interviews by Fletcher and stuff. They've got players who want to actually go for Europe, which seems quite far off when there's so many clubs up there. But I think they've got not a lot. They've got players with experience and quality now, and they've lost Berahino, so that sort of issue isn't hanging over the club anymore.
Especially after recently found out that he was actually banned, wasn't he, after drug use, although we still don't know if that was recreational or...
What was that, Berahino?
Yeah,
it was
Berahino.
recreational.
Was it recreational?
I saw on Sky Sports News earlier.
Oh, nice. On the other side, Middlesbrough, I mean, they were busy in the January window. I mean, they're still sat down in 15th, even though they're very good defensively, but they're really struggling to score goals. And obviously they had Negredo, and they've now brought in Bamford and Gusted. Do you think those signings will be enough to solve their lack of goals?
No.
Because, seriously, why did they get Gusted? I'm not really sure what that's all about. But,
sort of a poor
Gusted
man's...
was, I mean, I'm not sure that. And also, Bamford, I was really a big fan of Bamford when he was in the Championship. But, I mean, that's a risk. I think he's a good striker, but having not proved himself in the Premier League, and they need to score goals, you want to buy someone who you know is going to score goals, not a young guy who definitely can do it in the Championship, but we don't know whether he can do it in the Premier League because he hasn't really been given the chance.
And he hasn't really done it for the last few years, has he? He had that fantastic season in the Championship, and he's kind of...
Has he been injured?
Slowed down.
I
think he's just been on the bench a lot. He's been kind of going from club to club, and I just don't think, as you say, he hasn't really played much. And
he sort of keeps going on loan. He's not getting settled, and I think that's a big part of football. If you're not settled, then you can't really sort of play your own game.
Sort of a classic Chelsea academy player.
Yeah.
We now have Crystal Palace getting a much needed win against Bournemouth with Scott Dan and Benteke piping up. And Palace been very, very busy in the transfer window. They actually spent the most out of the Premier League. If you go just by signings, they actually made a loss of 39 million in. And I think their signings are mixed. They've obviously been trying to improve at the back. And I think good sign. They signed Anne Holt, Sacco on loan, Jeffrey Schlupp, and Olympiacos midfielder Milivojevic. I was trying to say Milivojevic.
I've been practicing saying that all, as soon as they sang, I was like, I'm going to need to learn to say that because that is a tough one.
I was trying to practice last night, but
Milivojevic is how you say his name.
Yeah, so
just get a computer.
I'd like to see. Obviously, I want to hear you guys about that signing. So we'll start off with Jonny.
Milivojevic.
Yeah, we'll start with
him.
No,
I've not heard. My knowledge of European football isn't great, so I don't really know much about him. I know much about the other lot.
Yeah, but I mean, it's rumoured £13 million they've spent on him for. Apparently, he's having a good season in the Greek league, but it's the Greek league, and I think any midfielder with, no offence to the Greek league, obviously, but I think any midfielder with a little bit of quality can probably do that. But it absolutely does not mean they can do it in the Premier League, and I know it's a bit of a risky signing. I think from Palace, it's very up in the air.
Excited about it, so I presume he's a good sort of player. I think they've signed well. Overall, they've got players that were plugging gaps that perhaps Pardew was interested in, just going forward and basically thinking, right, we're going to outscore our opponents. I think in Schlupp and Sacco, they've just sort of hardened their defence, which is what Big Sam likes. So I think they're basically just in a bit of a rut. They obviously that win at Bournemouth was a big win, especially being away, and I think they'll get out of it soon. Once they get on a run, then they've got a good squad. They're in no trouble, I don't think.
Yeah, I think some people have been doubting Allardyce because they haven't really seen much change at the club. But I think the win against Bournemouth was a sort of a momentum shifter, and I think now they're going to go on a good run, and they've got Sunderland next, and I think they've got more attacking power than Sunderland, and I think they'll go. I think they'll be fine.
It's fair enough. I'm personally a bit unsure on their signings. I think Anholt's a very good left back, and I think that's a good signing. I think Sacco can be good. I mean, he's got all the potential, but he's always kind of a bit inconsistent. Jeffrey Schlupp, I'm personally not a huge fan of. I didn't think he was that good when Leicester were in the Championship, and I wonder as well where he's going to fit into this team, because I see Anholt starting at left back, and then are they going to play, because Jeffrey Schlupp himself doesn't know where he plays. I think he's been playing left back, left wing, striker. I'm not really sure where he fits into this Palace team. Maybe at left wing.
Do you think he'd put him at centre defensive mid or something and just tell him to run around?
Maybe, that's all he does.
But,
he's very quick.
Can Palace switch to 5-3-2 the other day against Bournemouth? So I think he sort of plays left wing back and Van Aanholt.
Because he has got pace, so if he just tells him what he wants him to do, I'm sure.
I think you've got in Schlupp and Van Aanholt, you've got two players there that can play on the left side of one of maybe three formations. You play 4-4-2, you can have Van Aanholt left back and Schlupp left mid. You play 3-5-2, you can have either or left wing back. You know, if you play sort of 4-2-3-1, maybe Schlupp can play the left one of the three, so...
Utility, really.
It's a utility player. I think it's handy to have in situations where you're going to need to swap against, where if things might not be going your way.
Moving on, a great home win and another home win for Burnley, who now have the third best home record in the league, only behind Chelsea and Tottenham, I believe. And 1-0 win against Leicester, even though Leicester aren't doing too well. Sean Dyche's done an incredible job at Burnley, hasn't he?
I think they've learned a lot from. What was it? Was it 15? No.
Was it 2 years ago?
Yeah, 2 years ago. I think he's gone. Let's make Turf more our.
He's definitely more pragmatic. Like he knows that, like Turf Moor, Boyle accounts that sort of reading the secret football, and he said Burnley is an absolutely horrendous place to go for a professional footballer, and I don't doubt it. So the moment you get off the coach, the moment you leave, you don't want to be welcomed in any way, and I think that's basically what happens at Burnley. Like they know that what they've got, and it's like the pinnacle of home advantage up there, because their home record is unbelievable and their away record is absolutely dreadful.
Yeah, 28 out of their 39 games they've won at home. And on the other end of things, Leicester really, really struggling, and I don't mean to be it wouldn't be the first time Watford kind of rained on their parade, but I remember last season after they won the league joking like, what if they get relegated the season after winning the title? But they're slowly slipping down, and if they don't do something soon, it really could happen.
Yeah, well, I think I also found out that Leicester and Burnley are both 19th and 20th in the away form, and I think that. But then Leicester have not done a Burnley, and they can't win anywhere.
Yeah.
And I think they've brought some people in. They've brought in Didi, who's I think trying to replace Kante. But I don't think Ranieri knows how he's going to get this team winning, and I don't think they kept Tajoa. I don't know why. I don't know why you need that kind of unrest. I'm sure he'll be professional about it, but I think Ranieri was let down by Kante in the summer, and I don't think really the whole team have got over that sort of loss. Really.
And people have worked out how to play against Vardy, so he's sort of been nullified for a lot of it. I don't think Okazaki's sort of running around thinking like, someone help me out here, and Mahrez doesn't seem as confident for some reason. I think obviously the wins just maybe aren't there, so he doesn't feel like he can go out and express himself. I'm
pretty sure some of it must be because I'm sure Ranieri had like a talk with each of them, and they said, if you stay, I'm getting everyone to stay, we'll be fine. And then Kante left. I think the reaction, I don't know if you've seen it, but when the Chelsea went back to Leicester and Ranieri caught Kante walking through the thingy, and he put him in a headlock and sort of say like, you sort of like went against my back sort of thing, how dare you kind of thing, sort of jokingly obviously, but sort of I think that hit a huge, because I'm sure Vardy could have gone elsewhere, Mahrez, I'm sure he got offers, and I think they trusted in them to all stay there, and I think maybe they've taken the risk of Champions League as well, because they've done pretty well in the Champions League, and I think maybe as soon as they start, getting if they get a few results in the knockout stages, I think stuff in the league would be forgotten about. But if they lose in the next round, then I think it's disastrous.
Big time. I think Kante was obviously... last summer everyone was talking about Mahrez and Vardy leaving and how they were the key players, but I think it was actually, as it looks anyway, that Kante was actually the key player. I mean, we touched on earlier how fantastic he's been for Chelsea as well this year. And obviously, I think he allowed Leicester to kind of, because last year they like to, ping it up to Vardy to run onto and just kind of skip midfield, because they knew their midfield was fine because Kante was there. Now they haven't got anyone to really hold that down. And as we say, teams know how to play against Vardy. Maybe the teams in the Champions League aren't used to playing against teams like Leicester. And maybe that's why Leicester have been able to surprise a few. But as soon as they get tested in Europe, it could be a very very different story. And hopefully Leicester can stay up. I mean, it'd be a real shame for them to go from such a high to such a low.
Yeah, I think they're definitely relegation candidates, but I think they've got enough quality to stay up. We'd be very surprised if they actually went down. I think there'll be a poor season for them, but I think they'll probably stay maybe 16th, 15th, I think, maybe 16th if I had to stick my hat on a...
Never bet against Leicester, or 4.
Yeah,
just don't bet when Leicester are involved.
Yeah.
Unless they're away, apparently, then bet against them to lose. Now, Man United, Hull. Hull obviously struggling, as we said before, but I think in the space of 4 days, Hull have beaten and drawn with Man United, which isn't bad going but for a team like Hull. And a bit like Clement, I think it was having good impact there. They do seem to be playing better football, don't they?
Yeah, as you said, they sort of been pinging it around a bit more confidently, and I think he's basically gone in there and said, like, believe in your ability. I think Mike Phelan, I'm not sure what was going on there, but I think he's gone in there and said, look, believe in yourself. Like, you're a professional footballer, you deserve to be in the Premier League, and there's some good young players there, but I think they were just maybe not led in the right direction.
I'm not sure how much, because I find this so difficult for a manager who you've had this team. I don't know if they've been playing that badly. I know because they did get a few wins with obviously Mike Phelan early on, and I feel like he lost. Hernandez was out injured, and then he gets sacked, and as soon as he gets sacked, Hernandez is back into the squad from fitness, and it's just like, and then he scores against Bournemouth and they win 3-1, and it's like, I think Hull are a good side, but I think a lot hinges on belief. If Marco, like we said earlier, if they do lose a game, I feel like he, being from a club like Olympiacos rather than Mike Phelan, I think he's got more power to. He sort of knows what to do to get players motivated, maybe, and maybe knows a few more tricks. And I think he's got probably a bit more authority than Mike Phelan might have had. I just feel like I think he's got that from just their performances recently. I think.
Then so it's 1 point gained for Hull, but I think as Man U are concerned, it looks more like 2 points dropped. Man U didn't buy anyone in January. I mean, they bought a hell of a lot in the summer, but sold a few players. And then Liam, obviously you're a Man United fan, so what are your thoughts on the transfer dealings?
I don't know whether we want to save transfer dealings for later, but I'll just sort of talk about the game really. And I think the over-reliance of Ibrahimovic is a bit nonsense really. I think he's a quality player, but to play 22 out of 23 games, he's played more than that, obviously outside the league as well. When you have players like Rashford and Martial who can play through the middle, and so many wingers, so many, Mata. Obviously, we did have Depay, Lingard, Ashley Young. I think he should see. I feel like he sees Rashford and Martial as more wingers, so that's why he sold Depay. And I think he's got it all wrong. He should have. Yes, Ibra's the central striker who's the go-to, but when you need to mix it up, Martial or Rashford should be going through the middle, and then he should be using the Lingards and Ashley Youngs and stuff for the wings. And I think that's costing them in games against Hull when. Pace, skill, Depay used to offer something different. Lingard usually has decent runs that struggle defenders when he plays in sort of on the wings, and I think that's what I think annoys. Like they said, some people were saying on 5 Live that it was like watching Van Gaal again. And I think you're going to always have these games, but it's the difference of nicking the 1-0s. And Rashford managed to do it early on in the season back at the KC Stadium. But I just think the over-reliance of Ibrahimovic might be one of the mistakes this season.
And we have Stoke Everton, 1-1 draw. Crouch gets his 100th Premier League goal. He's his 4th of the season. He only played 11 games last season and didn't score any of them. I guess fair play to Crouch. I mean, you two know I'm not a huge fan of Peter Crouch. I used to find him very frustrating to watch when he was at England. He's a great bloke, and I mean the robots quality. It's a fantastic celebration, but he's just not my type of player. I think he's difficult to watch at times. He just slows. He fits a team like Stoke, down to the ground. But I think when he played for England, I think one of the most frustrating players I've ever watched.
I feel like it fits old Stoke, doesn't fit new Stoke.
True,
New
yeah, it's a
Stoke
bit
is a different
difficult.
team, but
That course still
That's a
there.
bit harsh.
I think he's got the attributes, and I think he uses them really well. Like
He's
personally.
got good skill with his feet as well.
Yeah.
I think.
If the ball's 6 feet in the air, then he does like absolute wonders. But if the ball's, I don't think he's that good.
When he's played Arnautovic's goal the other day, where they were doing 1-2s and stuff. Like he's not in the. Yes, he's old, but I feel like because he's so tall, I feel like he's been put out the picture a bit at Stoke. And last year he didn't score a single goal in around 11 appearances, whereas now he's got 4 goals already, and he's usually a consistent scorer. And I feel like he's sort of been pushed aside mainly because he is 36. But I feel like Bojan's now gone out on loan, and he was apparently a huge part of their play, but obviously not anymore. And I think I'd give it to Crouch. I think he's a great goal scorer, and I think he can do a lot more than people give credit to. He's a Liverpool player at one point, so
You can't really argue with his goal scoring record. To be fair, he's scored a lot and scored wherever he's been. So
He's got really good feet for a bloke, like, considering his head is literally in the clouds.
I think he's worse.
And that goal against City a few years ago, where he just sort of took it down with his left foot and actually pinged him with his right.
He scored some incredible volleys.
I think he's a really good player, but you don't like him. That's fair.
Yeah,
It's just personal taste. Now go on to West Ham getting absolutely battered by Man City. And Man City probably need a boost, really, a confidence boost. And what signing Gabriel Jesus looks like. A goal and assist on his first Premier League start. What do you two made him so far?
I just thought it was unlucky that West Ham had to deal with him on his full debut. I think when I watched, he came on for them in the game before, and instantly he looked class. They had an injection of not just pace, but the quick thinking, sort of good positioning, always an option. Has a bit of skill about him, and I think this will push Man City to maybe go beyond Liverpool, and I think they're just gonna rack up the points now. Now they've got him, I think he's the injection that they needed to wake them up, wake Sterling up, wake Guerrero up. This guy has quality, serious quality, and I've seen that instantly in his substitution appearance here against West Ham, who I know are struggling, but I think a 4-0 is a really positive performance for Man City, rather than detrimental for West Ham.
When was the last time Aguero actually had much competition at Man City? He's always kind of been the top man. So
he's always had good strikers, but for some reason he never, with Negredo, I always thought he's quite a good option, but obviously he's not as good as Aguero. And then even with Iheanacho, Iheanacho is basically the future, and I think Aguero's got the quality. At the end of the day, he's always going to be your first choice striker if he's fit. So, you're always going to play him, really.
Yeah, I think it's the sort of thing that, as Liam said, it's the sort of thing that they needed and will boost them on. Because I think last time, you don't see Man City with too many. Obviously, Iheanacho's been breaking in, but he's just very consistent. Whereas there's always been a lot of experience and just a lot of big names, like big fish in a big pond at City. And then I think you always need a mix of youth and experience. I think you get that young player who's hungry and he wants to prove how good he is, and he just has so much energy and it just brings up the rest of the squad, because you've got the old timers who go, no, we need to keep up with this guy, and you've got maybe Aguero who hopefully, in City's case for them, hopefully ignites the fire back in Aguero and he can get scoring again, even though apparently Real Madrid are looking at Aguero.
Yeah, I think the same. I think as well, if he can keep this kind of sort of persona about him on the pitch as well, I think it worries defenders. It means they've got to concentrate on him, and then trying to concentrate on him, Silva, Yaya Toure, it's
even
just
Sterling.
It's just Sterling, when he decides to turn up. I think it's a scary thought for defenders, no matter who you are and how you play. And I think I think it was a great sign.
I think ultimately though, Manchester City spent that £27 million in the wrong area, because their defence is an absolute disgrace. If their back five, if you like, was as good as their front five, they'd win the league. It's just simple as that, really. Because they would have beaten Chelsea earlier in the year. It takes a big man to admit when you're wrong, and apparently Guardiola isn't that man, because he bought a terrible goalkeeper and he just won't admit it. Like, if he buys another goalkeeper, then it works out. A month or two down the line, when he started winning, because his other goalkeeper was actually bailed him out of trouble on a couple of occasions, no one will care that he bought Bravo. They'll be like, oh, he's bought this guy in, so obviously he does know what he's doing. But because he won't admit when he's wrong, and their defence is just a shambles, people look at him and are like, does he really know? Like, is he a good coach? I mean, everyone's been waiting to shoot him down for ages. As soon as he came to the Premier League, you're waiting to go, oh, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. Everyone loves to have a pop at him.
Yeah.
But
I could manage Barcelona.
yeah, at the end of the day, you don't win all those trophies in different countries if you're not a good coach. He is a good coach, but he's making errors like with his transfer policy, and I don't like that he's got stressed with the job, and he's sort of had a pop at reporters and been really short. And I mean, reporters in this country ask ridiculous questions, as it is most of the time anyway. But
And you have to do so much for them as well.
I think there's certain things that Pep's not handled in his usual calm way.
I was trying to think, I wonder if it was Hart's fault that he actually left. I was thinking, I know Hart wasn't going to be his main man and he was going to bring Bravo in, but I wonder if he would have sold Caballero.
Caballero.
Caballero. I feel like if he'd stayed, would he be on the bench? And then maybe he would have been given, when Bravo failed, maybe he would have been given his chance. Because I think he's a great shot stopper. All he would have had to do is just practice and learn how to pass the ball, and he's probably going to do that more staying at City. So actually now, I thought it was a good move for him to get away and learn a different. Now I'd see English players in different leagues and more different situations. But now I'm thinking, I wonder if he'd had a bit more steel about him and sort of stayed and maybe just got on the subs bench, he could have maybe saved his City career.
Maybe, but I think at the same time, I think he's made the right move, because I think, as we've seen from Pep, he's very, very stubborn. And he will stick to his ways, and he won't sign defenders, because when does he ever? He will never focus on defence. He will always focus on out attacking the other team and out manoeuvring, out passing the other team.
Yeah, I would agree, but obviously Yaya Toure came back.
Mm.
All he had to do was apologise and work at it. I know it was his agent and stuff, but he, Yaya Toure was kicked out of Barcelona originally by Pep, and I think it's one of those tactics. It's sort of like, I'm the manager, I'm going to do something, either stay and stick it out or leave. And I think maybe the leave option might work out for him, but and I think defensive wise, it's like who really is there to go out for at the moment. I'm not really sure who you'd get anyway.
And on the other side of things, West Ham, bit of a blip, but I mean, they've done very well recently, really. Like, when you consider the absolute dismal start they had at the start of the year, and they've climbed up to 11th in the table. Another team that were busy in January. They've brought in Fonte and Snodgrass, who look like good signings, but they've made some big losses. I've obviously lost Payet. Even bigger loss was the termination of Zaza's loan. Absolutely huge loss for West Ham. I think it's obviously the reason they lost. They just lost without Zaza completely. But do you think Fonte and Snodgrass will make up for the loss of Payet?
Yeah. They took advantage of clubs' sort of misfortunes and respect. Like Hull were struggling, and obviously Snodgrass wants to play at a high level, and then Fonte obviously wanted a better contract, and West Ham gave it to him. So I think their outgoings and incomes were really good, because Payet clearly was, for whatever reason, whether we can debate why he left till the cows come home, and most people have, but I think ultimately their outgoings and their incomings were really good.
I would agree, but I want to say I like Snodgrass as a player. But if you're going to put Payet and Snodgrass in the same room, I wouldn't put them in the same room. I think Payet, when he was on form, he was unstoppable. He was a match winner. And Snodgrass has proved it a little bit with Hull, but I feel like because he was the standout performer for that team, I think it's a harder job now coming into a team that, yes, is struggling, but I feel has more about them.
I definitely wouldn't compare them. Like, I know that's not what you're saying, but
just because of the outgoings.
I think that Payet was almost like a one man band when he was there. So it was almost give the ball to Payet and let's see what he can do with it. Whereas I think West Ham are a better team than that. Like, they've got better players. And I think as far as dead ball situations go, I would compare them. I think Snodgrass's delivery is arguably even better than Payet's, and consistent as well. So I think in terms of what West Ham are about, and like they're a big team, and at the end of the day, if they're not winning, they just need to grind out results. They can do that by scoring from set pieces, and Snodgrass has got the delivery. Antonio, when he's trusted and put in the right position, he can be absolutely sort of brilliant for them. So
yeah, I think it'll help West Ham become more of a unit. I think they did rely too heavily on player, and I think now I think that's what they need, is they need to work as a team more if they do want success in Europe. Like, they can try and be a big club with a big stadium and make these big signings, but at the end of the day, it's not star quality alone that gets you to the top. It's working as a unit. Chelsea have these fantastic players like Hazard, but it's the players who work in the background, like Kante, like even Gary Cahill, do like more of the dirty work, or Matic, for example. It's those players who do the dirty work and help as a team that get you up to there.
It's like I said as well. I think I said to you the other day about I think Pyatt leaving was it was a good thing in the fact that they all the players, I mean, I don't know if the players knew exactly what was going on behind the scenes, but the players basically, like Andy Carroll came out and said, like, we don't want someone like this playing for us if he doesn't want to be here, and it almost united the squad. It sort of almost forced them closer together if they were, maybe the cracks were starting to show because of the results. Then because of the Pyatt situation, it pushed them all together, and with the signings that they've made, I think they can really like kick on, and the second half of the season will be much better for West Ham fans.
Now, on to transfer deadline day, talking about Payet leaving. There was quite a few big players were leaving, including a lot going off to China, obviously, with Igalo going off 20 million. Hasn't performed, honestly, and like, as much as I love Igalo and much as he did for us, I think it was the right time for him, the right time for us, and we've done blooming well to get 20 million for him. And Oscar going for 60 million, unbelievable money, and very early in his career going to off to China. But just an odd deadline transfer window in general, and odd to us also to have deadline day on the same day as game day, and actually having games played on deadline day. I was wondering what you guys thought of that.
I thought it's good in a way, because then it meant maybe everyone got their stuff transfers early on. But I think it
a lot of transfers actually happened after the, like, if you look on the actual times they went through, they all went through like after 5 o'clock. Like, there was a lot that went through quite late.
And I don't know, I did think it was a bit strange when I'm sure it was a stress for managers trying to make sure that one side, it meant if they're playing they can't go for a medical anywhere, but at the same time it must have been a bit stressful just trying to, if you're needing a striker, then you're having to concentrate on a game on the same day. It's I thought it was a bit odd, but not the end. Not.
The thing is that like this, I've sort of learned it. I think about a year ago, or like within the last couple of transfer deadlines, that basically transfers aren't done in a day. Like they're a long time in the making. So it's almost they very rarely, unless it's a loan deal where sort of chairman and directors of football are ringing around going, like, have you got a loan player that you can just give me for like a month, just so we can plug a gap, you can just come here and sort of do a job. And they're the only ones that really happen on, like, the big money moves. They've been working, like, agents and that have been working on them for weeks. But yeah, I don't think it was such a problem that there was a game on the same day. It just sort of was coincidence, really.
Yeah, I think deadline day is it's calmed down a bit, hasn't it, after the original hype, where obviously about a few years ago deadline day was absolutely manic, where everyone was buying.
I mean, it used to be good, and then I think
Sky
Sky Sports kind of took it as a brand and then ruined it by basically making it a day. Like, it just used to happen to be the last day of the month or whatever. Yeah. Then Transfer Deadline Day tried to make it into a brand.
Tried to make it into a national holiday.
Killed it, because everyone was like, it just got hyped for a couple of years, and then it didn't turn out to be that good, because of that it was as good as previous ones, and now it's sort of people are less interested in it.
Yeah.
Quickly, who do you think, club and why, did the best in January out of the Premier League? What teams had the best January dealings? I'll go first, even if I'm a bit biased. I'm going to say Watford. I think they have done very well to get 20 million for a guy who's obviously a fantastic move. He just wasn't going to perform anytime soon. I think also getting 400 million for Guardiola is another really good selling for us. He was a very nice guy and very well liked by the fans and liked at the club, but not really up to Premier League's quality. I mean, he even struggled against Millwall coming back from a Cup of Nations. I don't even really think he's Premier League quality, but good luck to Middlesbrough. And then I think bringing in Niang, who looked very good against Arsenal, and this gives us options going forward, and also Zarate. I think Watford have done very well, and they brought in two big players like that and still made a profit of about 20 mil, so quite good for them.
Yeah, I'd agree with a lot of what you said. I kind of want to put Swansea in the mix as well because I feel like they strengthened in sort of key areas. So they got sort of Tom Carroll midfield, Martin Olsen, Jordan Ayew, and Narsing. And I feel like they're quite attacking options with Narsing and Ayew. And then Tom Carroll, who's had positive moves there and already shown his quality in games, and Martin Olsen, I think, was a positive buy as well. So I feel that it was maybe not the best, but I feel like as well as Watford, I think they did well.
And managed to hold on to Llorente as well, even though there was interest from Chelsea. So yeah, very good window from them. And Johnny, what do you think?
I think there was, like you said, Stoke. I think did quite well. I think there was a couple of teams that did okay, and they bought but I still think, as far as strengthening the squad and what they had, and basically doing the best business in terms of not losing sort of keeper, I think it was West Ham. Like they need to go to Payet, and they did. And they cashed in on him, sorted out that problem, and then they brought in a few really good replacements. So I think in terms of complete transfer dealings, I'd say West Ham did the best.
We talked about who were good, but who was bad? Who's done the worst in the January transfer window?
I've got a few things I just want to point out, and then maybe I'll come to a conclusion. But I think Bournemouth had one of the worst, only because they lost Aki, who was a huge player for them, and then they didn't really buy anyone. And I think might upset them with injuries and stuff. I think that could be a huge thing for them, really. I also had, even though Hull made a lot of signings, I think they made a lot of sort of average signings, bringing Nias on loan. They also got Di from, I think that's how you say it, from Villarreal on loan. And Grosicki from Stade Rennais for 7 mil, and it's sort of unknown players. Some have experience in the league, but not really shown it.
Kind of has
I think you think when you bring these players in a Hull's position, you think, are these players going to get us out as the mess that we're in? Are they going to basically keep us in the Premier League? And you look at them going, no, you're not. They're going down. Like, I just can't see any way out of this for Hull.
I thought it was interesting that Leicester sold Hernandez, their centre-back, who was bought in the summer, or he came for a free in the summer, and they sold him for 1.75 million. So that shows that their defensive options are just shocking at the moment.
Good business. Oh, they bought him in for the sort of Champions League squad type thing, and basically realised they didn't actually need him, so they just sort of sold him on. So,
but when I've seen him, he wasn't very good.
No,
so.
Fair play on that one then. Just get him in,
I think that was it really. And I think Borough, we've already spoken. Borough's strikers options, I think they're terrible.
And bringing Goodyear as well.
Yeah,
not great.
Not great signings really. Nor what good, like they're signings, but they're not something that gets fans or other players, I'm sure, excited.
I think there's so many teams. I don't think you could pinpoint one that had a poor transfer window in January, because so many teams, like I said, City didn't buy any defenders, United
didn't buy right back. I don't know why they didn't go for a Ivanovic.
Like 3 or 4 players short of where they need to be. I think the only team that didn't really need to buy was Chelsea, and they didn't. I think a lot of people have also ragged on Arsenal. And I don't know why, I'm not an Arsenal fan, but I always seem to defend them, because I still think Arsenal have got one of, if not the best complete squads when everyone's fit in the Premier League.
When everyone's fit, it's maybe
when everyone's fit, which is the problem. I don't think at Arsenal the playing staff is the problem. I also don't think it's Arsene Wenger. I think it probably goes a bit higher just to the board. I think something up there, it doesn't, like they had their AGM recently, and a lot of the things that were coming out of it, you just thought, well, that's not right. Like their contracts, they weren't getting the contracts done early, and it leads to basically sort of ties Arsene Wenger's hands behind his back, because then players don't want to play for him, and then he gets it in the neck. I don't think it's his fault, but I wouldn't say that. I think Arsenal could possibly do with one more centre back, but I don't think it's a priority.
I touched on it before. I think Palace have honestly they're panic buying a bit. Obviously, they did need to shore up the defence after. We saw what happened in that Swansea 5-4 just clown fiesta of a game. But I think, as I say, I don't really like Jeffrey Schlupp. I think he's quick, and maybe he can do it if it's kept simple, but he won't make a huge impact. Anholt's good. Sakho's is a big name, but he's a bit shaky. The midfielder from Olympiacos, well, unproven quality. It's kind of up in the air, and obviously Allardyce is good at keeping teams up, but I think it's him kind of panicking a bit and really rushing in to try and make sure they stay up, but I don't know if it'll be enough.
I think their squad's good enough, really. I mean, they signed
It
two
should
players
be.
to be,
It should be,
sure, but I think a lot of those players are more than good enough to be mid-table Premier League team.
I just look at that group of players and I think 39 million on those four, and I'm like,
I think Van
seems like a
Aanholt. He
lot.
bought Van Aanholt because he had faith in him at Sunderland, and I think there's a relationship.
But no, he's a good player.
I think
He's not
Aanholt's the
he's
good
just not
sign.
consistent.
And there is a relationship.
he was at Sunderland
there.
and he was consistent at Sunderland, really.
And I think Sacco does have a quality, but he's not a Liverpool kind of quality. But I think he's a perfect kind of quality for Crystal Palace. And then Schlupp, I think he's utility. So I think they're quite good signings. Really.
And on players leaving the tribute centre, we've lost a few players from the English game, really. Ivanovic has obviously left Chelsea, and apparently, I saw this on Twitter, I wasn't able to check it, so I'm not sure, but apparently in Gerrard's last 5 seasons, he scored 28 goals that weren't penalties. And then during that same time period, apparently Ivanovic scored the same. I mean, he scored 22 Premier League goals altogether.
Did he really? That is a fantastic.
He was an incredibly incredible goal record. He's got like 60 odd goals in his career. Ivanovic is a real goal scorer.
Did you start him in my fantasy team?
Yeah, that's why he was in everyone's fantasy. He's a fantasy football legend.
Yeah.
That's why I'm not really sure why someone like United didn't. Maybe they did try to get him, but I think that would have been
How old is
a
he
perfect. He's quite old, but as a substitute,
34, is he?
Experience, can play centre back.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie,
I think maybe he just wanted to go back to Russia, and you never know if he might not have even joined United if he was at Chelsea for a long time, and he just might not have wanted to.
He might have hated Mourinho, actually. Yeah, that's true.
And Mourinho as well. You don't know what their relationship was like. You never know. You never know.
Yeah.
And then to another Chelsea legend, Frank Lampard's obviously retired. And, I mean, what a wonderful career he's had, really. Like,
should we call him Sir Frank Lampard?
Sir Frank
podcast?
Could be.
Because it's going to happen.
For this podcast, yeah.
I absolutely love Frank Lampard.
He's the only midfielder in the top 15 Premier League all-time goal scorers, and he's fifth. Fourth. He's fourth highest scoring player in the Premier League history. Just another Chelsea player with just an unbelievable goal scoring record.
Yeah, only Cole, Rooney, and Shearer are above him, aren't they? So,
yep, I was going to ask that as well. Yeah. But also found a fantastic Sporkle quiz that we might have to do one day. If you don't know, Sporkle's online quizzes, and Frank Lampard actually has the record for the most unique Premier League teams scored against. He scored against 39 different teams in the Premier League. And there is a Sporkle quiz where you can, if you search Lampard on sporkle.com, you can find that quiz and try and name all 39 teams in 10 minutes.
That's fantastic. I might have a go at that.
Yeah,
Sounds
I
good.
think I have to. We also had a good record for England. Actually, the England's highest scoring midfielder as well, with 29 goals and 106 caps. As I cover up my notes here, can you tell me who is the next highest goal scoring midfielder?
For England?
Yeah, for England. It's close up. It's a bit of an older one. It's not Stevie G. Stevie G has 21.
Gaza?
Who, sorry?
Gaza?
No, he's a I didn't hear what I didn't hear what you said. Of course I know who Gaza is. I thought you said Hassan, and I was like, what? It's not Gaza.
Oh god, that was good. It's so funny.
Edit that out.
Cut that out.
Paul Gascoigne. So not Paul Gascoigne.
No, he's a forward.
Joe Cole.
Joe Cole, no.
Gary Lineker.
It's another striker. I'm talking midfielders.
Oh right. John Barnes?
No, it's not. It's actually David Platt.
I was never going to get that.
No, you weren't. But you know what? Unbelievable.
After his England career, he moved into Corrie.
But you got obviously it took so Lampard got 29 goals and 106 caps. David Platt got 27 in just 62 caps. Just unbelievable goal scoring record. Fair play. Also, last thing on Lampard as well is got more goals outside the box than anyone else in Premier League history. Just so many different goal records. Just clinical.
Yeah. I think my admiration for Lampard is definitely. I obviously being a United fan, it was all about Scholes, and I've always hated Gerrard, so it doesn't matter.
I was going to come into this.
I think Lampard has definitely warmed him to my heart lately. And I think, I don't know whether you want to talk about it later, but I was thinking like different things that have sort of been crucial to his career and stuff like that. Might be quite interesting to talk about at some point.
Lampard, Gerrard or Scholes? I think we know Liam's answer is probably...
Well, yeah, mine's Scholes all day.
Scholes. If you couldn't have Scholes though, because like I know BBC were tweeting yesterday like Gerrard or Lampard.
I go Lampard.
Interesting to see a lot of the...
I liked Gerrard as a kid more, but I look back now and I'm like... I still think it's weird. I always want to say that they are kind of different players in a respect, even though obviously we know that they didn't work together because they were too similar. They're kind of complete midfielders. But I think Gerrard was probably a bit better at holding down midfield and maybe like making the tackles and helping the defence, whereas I think Lampard's obviously just incredibly clinical in front of goal.
Yeah, I think like you can make perfectly legitimate arguments for both of them. Ultimately it'll come down to, as a person, if you were a manager, what type of manager would you be? And I personally would prefer Lampard because I like people to do the dirty work, but I thought Gerrard was more of a, I can't think of a better word than sort of a bit of a rough centre attacking midfielder. Like he could do everything, and there's no like you would never say you didn't want him in your team. Mm-hmm. But I think like the class and the elegance of Frank Lampard and the way that he played football was just a little bit more pleasing to the eye than the way that Gerrard played it. Not that he was a bad player at all.
But I'd absolutely agree with that.
Yeah, and I feel like he's played well at different clubs and continued to score.
Manchester City legend as well, Frank Lampard.
For a long time, he's managed to like score and just sort of play to a high quality, even into like late 30s.
But again, so much respect for Gerrard. Well, nearly being a one club man and just playing at basically the peak of his career. He played, most of his career at Liverpool, and like you've got so much respect for that.
But for Lampard to do it at a club that he's not even grown up at, as I think as well, is pretty impressive. Like becoming a key cog.
He wasn't actually that well liked. I think at West Ham at the time, there was when he was young, there was quite a lot. There was actually a few West Ham fans celebrated when Lampard broke his leg early in his career, disgustingly. And obviously, I think if you've watched the news, you must have seen it where an very old fan Q&A where Harry Redknapp was at West Ham. And Frank Lampard sat right next to him, and a West Ham fan just completely slags off Lampard and names two midfielders I've never even heard of. He's been like absolute nobodies. And he said, they're much better than this Frank kid. Why have you got rid of them? And then Harry Redknapp's just completely shut him down and gone, I don't want to say it in front of him, but Frank Lampard is going straight to the top. And he's like, I haven't got any doubt in that. He's got one of the best attitudes I've seen. He's one of the most talented players. He's got it all. And Harry was spot on, I think.
Well, that's football fans for you, because I'm pretty much done with football fans. I just can't deal with their opinions and stuff like that. You just if you're questioning a bloke whose actual job it is to
and Harry ended up saying trust me, it's my job. Right. I know, and he did know, he knew. And now we've gone to our predictions for the Premier League for the upcoming weekend fixtures. Start off with the massive game, Chelsea-Arsenal. Score predictions.
I've gone with a 2-1 win for Arsenal. I think if Welbeck plays, but this is quite a high reliance. I think if Welbeck plays, I think he's going to have a great time against that Chelsea defence. I think they're going to win it.
Yeah, it's sort of the typical thing, isn't it? Where we saw it with City, where they I can't remember who, they had a terrible loss and then went off and beat Liverpool. The kind of teams always Watford did against Arsenal. Maybe Arsenal could do the same, bounce back. I'm not so sure. I think it'll be a tight game, and I think Chelsea will squeeze out a 1-0. And you, Johnny?
I think that Chelsea will win 3-1, and I think there will be at least 2 sendings off. I'm thinking it's going to be a really
heated.
I think the way that I think it's Arsene Wenger's. Has he got any more games?
I think he might still be in the stands.
In the stands.
I don't know.
So it's all hell let loose.
He's better than that. I just think I think Chelsea are going to be at home, and Arsenal, like I said earlier, Arsenal never turn up for these games. They're just not aggressive enough. They won't put themselves about, and then someone will get a stupid sending off, and basically it'll descend into chaos. But I think Chelsea have got too much quality, so I'll say 3-1 Chelsea.
It's a good shout. Chelsea, the masters of winding people up as well. We saw that at the end of the season last year against Tottenham. Now Southampton, West Ham could be actually quite a tight affair.
I've gone for a 3-0 win for West Ham. I think Southampton.
That's heavy.
Yeah, I think Southampton are going to continue this losing run. I think West Ham are going to want to bounce back from that City result.
I think it'll be a bit tighter. I think it'll be just 1-0. I think West Ham will have most of the ball, but I think Southampton I'm not sure what's wrong with them though. I think it's a 1-0 West Ham.
I think I'm going to go with Liam, and I think that West Ham, and well, both of you actually, and say West Ham are going to win, but I think it'll probably be 2-1. I think Southampton will probably grab a goal, but I think West Ham need to bounce back. They won't be 2 down because they won't be playing the Olympic Stadium, and they won't be sad why it's such a big stadium so quiet. So they might enjoy away games more, and I think West Ham win 2-1. West Brom Stoke. Classically, that'd be a game that you say 0-0 written all over it. But it might not be the case anymore, these two.
I've gone 1-0 win, Berahino. With everything that's going on, I think he's got to score.
Going for the headlines.
I think it's going to be 1-0.
Nah, it's always a draw. These games are nearly always a draw. Like when you watch it, it's always a 0-0 or 1-0. I think I can see maybe some... I want to say that it will be a draw, but I think it'll be quite high scoring. I'm going to say 2-2. Say 2-2 draw.
Exciting. That's going to be an exciting one for West Brom.
Yeah.
I think, I do agree that I think it could. It's either going to be no goals or a few goals. But that sounds ridiculous. I think
Michael Owen.
That's it. Let me rephrase that. I think it'll either be a high scoring draw. If one team scores, then I think the floodgates will open, and I think both teams will kind of go for it. Otherwise, I think both teams will stay tight, and I think both teams will be kind of unsure, and I think it'll be a 0-0. I'm going to say 0-0. Palace Sunderland, but battle of the bottom dwellers in the league.
I think I might have contradicted myself here.
Oh,
but I've gone for a 1-1.
1-1.
But I think, but
I could see it.
1-1, or if anyone's going to win it, it'd be Crystal Palace. I think that's what I'll go for.
I think last year Sunderland did a job on Crystal Palace, didn't they? Because it was on telly. And I think Jermaine Defoe scored quite late, and they sort of sucker punched him. I can see a similar sort of game like panning out as last year, but I think Crystal Palace will win it. I think I'll say 2-1 to Crystal Palace.
I think just to stick with my guns and to prove my point, I don't think Palace have signed that well. I think Sunderland are going to nick it 1-0. They're going to do a job and get a massive result because it's getting to that time of year where Sunderland actually wake up and like, oh wait, we're bottom, we should probably play. Watford Burnley. Oh god, I'm nervous.
See, I don't think you should be, because Burnley haven't won a game away from home, so I'm going 2-0 Watford, easy peasy.
But we love breaking records.
I do.
We love
think you're going to lose. Like I said to you, as soon as you beat Arsenal the other day, I was like, you're going to lose to Burnley though, because that's just Watford. Like, it is. Like Burnley haven't won all year, which all basically means that Sod's Law is coming on Saturday.
Always Watford.
I think Burnley will win this 2-1 again. So 2-1 away win.
It's interesting because it's funny how it could very mirror what happened earlier in the season, because we had a fantastic win against Man United 3-1. I was at that game, absolutely amazing performance. We then go to Burnley and play absolutely poorly and just don't put in a performance, and Burnley walk over us. I'm going to hope Mazzari's learnt his lesson. I'm going to hope we play 4 at the back. I'm going to hope we're sensible. And I think we'll struggle, even if they're away, I think we will struggle to break them down. But I think I have to say Watford 1-0 win. Here's hoping.
I think the difference has got to be you're at home this time. I think that's a huge difference.
Yeah, hopefully. And maybe I think fans will still be willing to get behind and show their support for Graham Taylor. And there'll be a good atmosphere there, so hopefully. Now, Everton-Bournemouth. Bad loss in midweek for Bournemouth.
I've gone Everton 3, Bournemouth 0.
I was going to say that result as well.
I was going to say that as well.
That exact result, really. I think especially when they lost Callum Wilson, he's out for the rest of the year
again. And he injured the opposite. He's done the exact same injury he had last year, but on the opposite knee.
Made of paper.
The opposite knee.
That's a big blow for them. I think Everton, they just sort of turn up and maybe...
Everton look fantastic this season.
I think they just sort of turn up and put in a really good performance. I'll say 3-0 as well.
I actually agree as well. I think 3-0. Stick money on it. If we all think it can't be wrong, can it? How can 3 out of 3 there? The odds speak for themselves. 3-0 Everton win. Hull Liverpool. Hull kind of grinding out results. Liverpool not really in form. Really still, even if they got a good result against Chelsea, still struggling.
I think Hull will score first, but Liverpool will come out 3-1 winners, with Mane being a key player.
I think with Mane back and he should probably start. Then hopefully they'll, with sort of Liverpool being away as well, then Hull should have a bit more emphasis on pushing forward, which I think will help Liverpool. Liverpool's problem is just Liverpool move the ball quicker and they don't play Emre Can. I mean, I like Emre Can, but I just think there's a time, it's just time, his form is not good enough. And I think take Milner at a left back, which is annoying me as well, because he's not a left back, he's just a waste down there.
He's doing the job though.
I know he's doing a job, but I think he could be doing a much better job for Liverpool in centre midfield. And I think if the round pegs are putting round holes instead of what they're doing at the moment, I think Liverpool will win 2-0.
I don't know if it's worth putting Milner in centre mid, just have Moreno then at left back, and you might as well just not play without a left back. But I think Hull are grinding out results. They're playing big games. They've got nothing to lose. I think it'll actually be 1-1. I think they'll scrape out a result. I think Hull will do well, and Liverpool just continue to struggle. They lost last weekend to a team in orange, and it could happen again, but not quite. I think it'll be a draw. Then lastly, Tottenham Middlesbrough. Tottenham at home have a great home record.
Tottenham, I think I've been a bit conservative here. I've gone for a 2-0 win. I think they could probably score more goals, but I think it'd be just Middlesbrough might trouble them a little bit, but I think overall Tottenham would be comfortable winners.
My question for this is not what the score will be, it's why the hell is this on telly? I don't know, who the hell cares? Well, the Middlesbrough fans care about that. This is probably going to come back and bite me in the bum, but who cares?
It'd be a 6-5 winner.
Tottenham are just going to absolutely smash Middlesbrough. They drew 0-0 to Sunderland. He's definitely not going to let that happen again. They can't beat him 3 or 4-0 or something, and it'll just be great because I watched that on Match of the Day. That highlight. It's just going to be one-way traffic. So I don't see why this is on telly. I think Tottenham are going to win at least. It'll be over 2.5. I think 3 or more goals.
I think it's fingers crossed, toes crossed that it'd be an upset.
Yeah, the Middlesbrough can sort of try and blunt their attack. But I think if they score 2, the floodgate's going to go open, and Middlesbrough haven't got the firepower up front to cause many issues. So
I don't see Middlesbrough scoring. I think they are quite resilient in the back. I think they might be able to hold off. I'm going to say the same as Liam. I think it'll be 2-0. I think Tottenham will be too much, but I think Middlesbrough might hold off for a lot of the game, and then kind of into midway through the second half, Tottenham will just take complete control. Then the Sunday games got Man City, Swansea.
I think City are going to carry on and sort of paving their way towards Chelsea, and I've gone for a 3-0 win.
3-0.
I think this could be a tough day for Porter. I like him, but I think this is not a game that he needs right now. I think it could be another 4-0 for City.
I think it would be slightly less. I'm going to say 3-1. I think Swansea might put up a fight, but Man City should and probably will have too much. And finally, Leicester versus Man U. Both teams kind of need some points. Go on, Man U fan.
I wanted to be conservative and maybe go for a 2-1, but I'm they need a reaction. 4-0.
4-0 away.
Yeah, I could see something like that. I think maybe a solid 3-0. I really hope if Martial gets his chance, he can get a goal and show Mourinho that he deserves to be played. Because I'm not a Man United fan. I don't particularly like Man United, but it annoys the hell out of me that Martial isn't being played as much because he's so good.
Is he bad,
I really like him. I don't. I mean, obviously, I'm not Mourinho, not a managerial genius, but. No. I don't. Yeah, I feel like he's
just one of those. Yeah.
It's just one of those really frustrating things. I think United 3-0.
I'll be a bit more conservative, and I think I'll say 2-0 Man U. Now onto a topical question, a bit of fun here.
Do you want me to put the?
Yeah, we have a quote here from Pep talking about Gabriel Jesus.
It's quite snappy, so hopefully it'll work.
Yeah, you never know. It's like a watermelon. You have to open and see if it's good or not. So the perspective was good. That's why we push on them, because it's a...
Yeah, Pep there saying, describing Jesus as a watermelon, saying you never know how good it is until you open him up and look inside. Which is a very interesting one. It's a very, very odd metaphor. You might be able to blame the language barrier on that one, but I feel that's not the case. But
we must have nicer watermelons.
So my question there for you guys is, what fruit would you use to describe a player? Any fruit, any player.
This could be real. I found this a lot harder than I thought. So I thought, I'll go for a topical one with Depay. I'm going to say he's like a pineapple.
The pineapple.
The look outside, it's a bit showy. not everyone likes pineapple. It's super sweet on the inside, so it does have a bit of quality to it. But United are going to be the metaphorical pizza to Depay's pineapple. That's what I've gone for.
So just
Because
not
no one likes
compatible.
pineapple
No one
on
like
pizza.
it.
It just
Yeah.
doesn't work.
Yeah.
And also the pie's rough around the edges.
Yeah.
Yes, that's a good one.
So it's a very good one.
I spent quite a while, to be honest, like last night just trying to think of one. I just couldn't like think of one that just like that's really good actually. Mine would never be that good. I had someone like a Michael Carrick or like a banana. It's like everyone likes him. Like he's always useful. And then even when he gets sort of to the end of his career and he's a little bit brown, you can still put him in like banana bread and he still works and it's still useful. So that's pretty much as close as I got.
That's pretty good.
I've got a bit more exotic. I've gone for an avocado, and I've gone with, we searched this and it is technically a fruit, technically a berry, but it's a fruit. Not a nut as apparently people Googled on being searching,
It's got
asking
seeds
if it,
or whatever,
yeah.
isn't it?
So avocado is definitely not a nut. Who the hell's Googling it? I don't know. But yeah, I think Etienne Capoue is an avocado because avocados absolutely fantastic when they're ripe, but they're not ripe for very long. It's only a very select period. As much as I love Capoue and as great as he is, it just depends if he wants to be ripe or not really. He decides himself.
I love him and he's perfect with Mexican food.
There you go.
Apparently.
Etienne Capoue is moving to the Mexican League soon. You heard it here first. With a jalapeno, as I heard someone the other day say. Jalapeno. And also, what's everyone's highlights from social media this week been?
Oh, I just had to search mine again.
Everyone get their phones
I don't
up.
know if I could find
Mine was
Um,
transfer deadline day based, with I think it was Matt Taylor was the first player to move across Bristol since about 1976, I think it was, and Danny Mills compared Matt Taylor's move from Bristol Rovers to Bristol City as being no different to swapping Tesco for Sainsbury's, because as we all know, if you're a Tesco shopper, you wouldn't dream of going to Sainsbury's.
Highlight of the year, isn't it? Tesco away.
Aye, Tesco away for Sainsbury's. It's always on telly, that one. I think I don't understand where he was. I mean, the animosity behind that move is it's just horrendous. It's like, you know, sort of. I don't think it happens so much in Premier League because you play each other so often. I think it's the lower league ones, like maybe the Watford Lutons, or you know, Swindon Oxford. Those teams where you would just never dream of crossing the city or somewhere very close to join the rival. That was brave of him. Fair play to him for going, because that's a big move up. Bristol City are going places, but that is brave.
On the back of that is the comment that Bristol made about when he joined. They said "Welcome to Bristol,"
Oh yeah,
which was fantastic. Yeah. That's really funny.
And apparently Bristol Rovers aren't happy about. They think that Bristol City knew the details of his contract, which is why they were able to hit the release clause on the head rather than be somewhere over it. Like,
Because whispers going around Bristol.
so yeah,
It's all
that
kicking
is
off.
very, very brave man.
I didn't really get one this week because I couldn't find one. So
Couldn't find one.
yeah.
I've got a just fantastic picture here from and brilliant caption
Oh,
from
actually, no,
Copper
I-
90, a YouTube
okay.
channel. Reece Oxford was signed for Reading on loan, and really, really weird picture of him signing his contract with some very obviously placed knockoff energy drink called
Oh, I've seen that. The
Carabao.
Carabao. They're the sponsor. They sponsor like Reading and stuff.
Yeah, I've never
Yeah, they're
heard
like
of them, seen them.
they're sponsoring the League Cup next year.
Really.
Yeah, like
They're
they're
really-
like going places.
They're horrible colours.
It's
though,
just-
those
it looks like
cans.
a-
They,
it's like
they look
they're not
terrible.
very
They look
clean.
absolutely
I know, it looks
they
like
look
a-
like I could buy them in the corner shop for 15p.
It looks like a
Like-
Texas Bull type.
Yeah,
the
that's it.
brand thing. It's they're
Yeah, fantastic tweet by Copper9 saying Reece Oxford was linked with Red Bull, but has ended up going to Carabao on loan. So
Yeah.
Carabao obviously looking for world football domination.
I did have that funny one about transfer actually. I forgot about it. Was the Odemwingie posting with him and his dog saying he's having a quiet transfer day. That was quite weird. Yeah.
good enough.
So
Makes a change.
Much more relaxed one. And now starting things off. Anyone been up to anything this week or anything exciting for the weekend?
Oh, just Swindon Oxford on Sunday. You know, biggest game of the season effectively.
For those who don't know, Johnny is a very big Swindon fan.
Yeah,
nervous one at that. I think.
I was nervous. I
Usually
think
you
having
are.
look at our deadline day business and our transfer business in January in general, and looking at Oxford's, I'm a lot more confident because they got rid of some players. I mean, I don't really follow Oxford at all, but they got rid of some players that I know have been relatively dangerous for them. I thought that I was quite surprised to see them leave, and the fact that we've signed Nicky Jose back on loan, albeit it was only on loan, but someone who can stick the ball in the net regularly, that's huge because there's so often where we've dropped points where we should have wrapped up a result. And we haven't beaten them in no time in the league since I think it's 2001. So although I think 6 out of about the 9 games have been away, so 7 might be 7. So
you were in different leagues for a while as well, weren't you?
They've I think a home win against our fiercest rivals would be a good way to start.
It's nothing bigger.
Start the climb at the table because we're in a little bit of trouble. I think our January signings though have made most Swindon fans feel a lot more confident.
Yeah, Oxford obviously have that confidence boost after that huge upset in the FA Cup, beating Newcastle 4-0. Can I get you to tempt fate, Jonny, and give me the score prediction for that game?
I can't see us shutting them out, so I think it's going to have to be a 2-1. I think Nicky Jose is going to score the winner. It'll be late on. It'll be just one of those. I think I got a feeling this is going to be. We'll score late, and it'll be an incredible moment. Hopefully,
massive Super Sunday with the Super Bowl obviously coming up as well.
Yeah, my Sunday could be either extremely good or extremely poorly. Could go extremely poorly. So.
Either way, there will be nachos.
They
will be okay.
I've got food. So.
I'm getting some nachos in. Anything for you,
Liam? A few, apart from Forest Green this weekend in the non-league. Looking forward to them, hoping they can beat Tranmere. No, not Tranmere. Who've they got? I thought I wrote it down, but I didn't. I'll have to double check that. It's not Tranmere, but hopefully Forest Green win to keep up with Lincoln and Tranmere. And then Athletic Club, my Spanish club, are playing Barcelona this weekend, so that should be quite a good one to watch. And then, I think that was it really. And then hoping New England lose.
You've got Bournemouth.
Nice.
Bournemouth.
And then hopefully New England lose to the Falcons really.
So. New England to win. Come on, the Patriots. Patriots Nation. Pats Nation.
I don't care. I'll decide on the day. Just for me, something interesting is I'm a big fan of esports, which for you who don't know is competitive gaming. And a big update today was this week was Gillette picked up a professional gamer for the first time, ex-Peke, or as some fans lovingly call him, Sex Peke. The man is incredibly handsome, not your typical gamer at all. And who was there to tweet out and welcome him to joining Gillette? Only Neymar. Massive name drop. Let me pick that back up. It's Neymar. Drop it again. Neymar advocating quite a lot for esports recently. He's plays about 16 hours a week of Counter-Strike and recently joined up with SK Gaming in a European team. So Neymar's a big gamer. Obviously got a lot of spare time at Barcelona. I just love the idea of it in my head, just Neymar sat at home with a headset shouting out obscenities at people at home while he's playing Counter-Strike.
I can believe that.
It's probably why he's not scoring.
Maybe it's not. He's getting high scores. Yeah. Plays. You can actually go on you can find his Steam account and see that he plays about 16 hours every week of Counter-Strike. I wish I had the time to play that much.
Yeah. Well, what else you got to do? Trains for 2 hours in the morning.
Then afternoon.
Shit, innit?
Yeah.
Don't bother having the siesta in the day.
No, that was it. Thank you for joining us for the very first Three Wide Men. We'll be back again next week. Hopefully you will be as well. I'm Jack Stewart. I'm signing off. Goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
Au revoir from me.
Nice.
That's too loud, don't do that.
Okay, I'll do that.
Somehow it's too loud.
Wait, you recorded?
Break people's ears off. Yeah, just to double check it and just.
Okay. You're going to have that as a recording. You're going to come back to it and you'll be like, what's this? And you go, Wah!
I'll put that at the end. Okay.
You actually could. That's too loud.